Today, we're diving into a pivotal legal ruling that's reshaping discussions about presidential authority. A federal judge has ruled against President Donald Trump's attempt to remove Hampton Dellinger, head of the Office of Special Counsel. U.S. District Judge Amy Berman Jackson delivered the decision, emphasizing the importance of the OSC's independence. Her ruling underscores its role in safeguarding federal employees and whistleblowers from retaliation. The Office of Special Counsel operates as an independent watchdog agency. Its primary mission is to investigate unethical or unlawful actions within the federal government while protecting those who expose wrongdoing. Judge Jackson warned that allowing presidents to dismiss special counsels at will could undermine this critical function. Such power might discourage whistleblowers from coming forward, fearing retribution without proper oversight. This case highlights broader tensions between executive power and institutional autonomy. It raises questions about how much control any president should have over agencies designed to operate independently. In response, the Department of Justice has filed an appeal, signaling their intent to challenge Judge Jackson's ruling. This move sets the stage for what could become a landmark Supreme Court battle. Legal experts suggest the outcome may redefine the boundaries of presidential authority. If upheld, it would reinforce protections for independent agencies tasked with maintaining ethical standards. Hampton Dellinger himself remains central to this unfolding drama. As the OSC chief, his continued presence ensures ongoing investigations into potential misconduct by federal officials. Critics argue that President Trump's dismissal attempt was politically motivated. They claim it aimed to silence scrutiny of administration policies and protect allies from accountability. Supporters counter that the president retains constitutional rights to manage executive branch personnel. For them, this ruling infringes on legitimate powers granted under Article 2 of the Constitution. Regardless of political leanings, all sides agree this case carries significant implications for governance. How courts interpret these issues will shape future administrations' ability to oversee independent entities. Historically, similar disputes have reached the Supreme Court before. Cases like Morrison v. Olson set precedents limiting presidential removal powers in certain contexts. However, recent years have seen renewed efforts to expand executive reach. Legal scholars are closely monitoring whether current justices adopt a more expansive view of Article 2 powers. Meanwhile, public opinion remains divided. Some see Judge Jackson's ruling as a necessary check on unchecked authority, while others view it as judicial overreach undermining democratic principles. Polls indicate growing concern among Americans about government transparency. Many believe strengthening independent oversight mechanisms is key to restoring trust in public institutions. Congressional leaders have weighed in too, with some lawmakers calling for legislative action to clarify rules around independent agency heads. Bipartisan support for reform appears unlikely but not impossible. Democrats argue that robust safeguards are essential to prevent abuses of power. Republicans, however, stress the need for flexibility in managing federal operations effectively. Beyond partisan divides, there's agreement that clear guidelines benefit everyone. Ambiguity only fuels controversy and erodes confidence in both elected officials and bureaucratic structures. Internationally, observers note parallels between this case and debates elsewhere about balancing executive authority with institutional integrity. Lessons learned here could inform global governance practices. Back home, the stakes couldn't be higher. With appeals pending, uncertainty looms over the OSC's future, and potentially other independent bodies facing similar challenges. Should the Supreme Court take up the matter, its decision could either affirm long-standing norms or usher in sweeping changes to how America governs itself. For now, Judge Jackson's ruling stands as a reminder of the judiciary's role in checking executive excesses. courts remain vital arbiters in preserving the delicate equilibrium of American democracy. As the legal process unfolds, attention turns to how lower courts handle related cases. Their interpretations will influence higher courts' eventual deliberations on these complex constitutional questions. Already, new filings reveal additional layers of complexity. Lawyers for both sides present compelling arguments rooted in precedent, policy considerations, and practical consequences. Media coverage amplifies the national conversation, bringing nuanced legal debates into living rooms across the country. Public awareness grows alongside interest in resolving these foundational issues. Social media platforms buzz with commentary, reflecting diverse perspectives on the intersection of law, politics, and ethics. Hashtags trend as citizens engage in spirited dialogue about accountability and freedom. Educators seize the moment to teach students about separation of powers. Classrooms become forums for exploring real-world applications of theoretical concepts taught in civics courses. Think tanks host panels featuring prominent jurists and academics debating the merits of various approaches to regulating independent agencies. These discussions enrich understanding of the topic's intricacies. Meanwhile, whistleblowers watch nervously, knowing their protections hinge on outcomes yet unknown. Their courage depends on systems designed to shield truth-tellers from reprisal. Ultimately, this saga encapsulates enduring struggles at the heart of American democracy. Balancing competing interests requires vigilance, wisdom, and a commitment to justice above all else. As each side prepares its next move, one thing is certain. The resolution of this case will leave an indelible mark on the nation's legal landscape and political culture. For millions of Americans, the hope is that fairness prevails. Whether through judicial rulings, legislative fixes, or societal consensus, finding common ground remains paramount. Until then, eyes remain fixed on Washington, where lawyers, judges, and policymakers grapple with profound questions about power, responsibility, and the rule of law. Every development brings us closer to answers, but also deeper into uncharted territory. What emerges will define not just this presidency, but generations to come. Stay tuned as this story continues to unfold, shaping conversations far beyond courtroom walls and reminding us why our system demands constant care and vigilance.